The political crisis in Burundi, it is escalating. Security forces are accused of targeting young men in the capital, Bujumbura. According to the army, at least 87 people were killed in attacks on Friday. It is the worst incident of violence since a failed coup in May. Witnesses say dozens of bodies were found lying on the streets, some with their hands tied behind their backs. The army says the people they killed are enemies of the state. This all began with coordinated attacks by unidentified gunmen on 3 military sites. The UN Security Council has condemned the killings, saying it is ready to consider further steps. Let's get more details from Mohammed Ado from the Kenyan capital, Nairobi. Mohammed, this seems to be spiraling out of control. What more is happening? What more can you tell us?
Well, Rochelle, tension is still high in Bujumbura, the Burundian capital, where on Saturday people woke up to corpses, the bodies of people who were killed lying on the streets. There is a big security operation also going on, targeting some of the neighborhoods of the capital, particularly the neighborhoods of Ngagara, Nyakadiga, and Musaka. And Musaka is where one of the military bases that was attacked on Friday was. And according to eyewitnesses, some of the people who were arrested, most of them young men, some of them were killed on the streets of these neighborhoods. Others were taken away. Some of the bodies that were found on the streets had their hands bound behind their backs, and some of them had bullet holes on top of their heads, something that aid officials say suggests execution style. Now, the government is blaming the opposition, but we managed to speak to the man who is the face of the opposition in Burundi, Agathon Rwasa, who has since joined parliament and become the deputy head of parliament. He says there is no opposition worth talking about in Burundi. They're not united and they're not to blame for the killings. And he said the government must tell Burundians who is causing this chaos and who is killing people.
So, Mohammed, what else are we hearing from the UN about how they're monitoring this situation?
Well, the United Nations is obviously concerned about the rising death toll in the Burundian conflict and the political crisis in that country. There is already talk of the deployment of UN peacekeepers in the country, with the important thing right now being, first of all, protection of civilians in Burundi, because many people have been killed so far. Up to 200,000 have crossed the borders Burundi has with its neighbors and have sought asylum in either Tanzania, most of them, and in Rwanda. Now, the concern right now is for the situation to continue deteriorating further and turning into an ethnic conflict or civil war. This country just emerged from civil war that continued in the country for 12 years. It's just 10 years ago that this conflict stopped, and many people are also seeing that there is an increased targeting of Tutsi young men, particularly in these neighborhoods I just mentioned. And they say if this continues, then the issue could turn ethnic and there could be civil war once again in that country. And the UN, as well as Burundi's donors who have so far stopped giving aid to the country, particularly Belgium and the European Union as a whole, who have said that they are not going to give money to Burundi as long as the conflict continues.
Mohammed Ado reporting on the escalating violence in Burundi. Mohammed, thank you.